Maybe Marquez might be headed in that direction if he can.
Marquez, who's in the
too many feints and
Sanchez, he's in the gold and black.
Same upward, but he will give you so much.
Our referee in charge.
Without cambio, 12 rounds. 10 rounds. Touch goods. Buena suerte. Touch your gloves. Touch your gloves. Good.
All right, let's check the tail of the tape for these two. Marquez, 5'7", 3 inches taller than Sanchez. He's a half-pound lighter. The third round. Pat Russell standing by. There's the bell, and here we go. It's scheduled for 12, and this is round 1. Sanchez is, and in the black trunks trimmed in red is Juan Manuel Marquez.
Very good body puncher, takes a good shot, known for being a dirty fight line. And keep in mind that you've got still a relatively inexperienced opponent across the ring from him.
Marquez, we've had the good fortune, and I don't mean him literally grow up, Rich. Watched him get knocked down for the first time and bounce back up, everything. Maybe one he really didn't deserve. I'm thinking about the one with Wheeler, but we watched him grow up.
He'll have a great heart, and he does respond to situations that when it looks very tough, going out pointed. And finally, although the stoppage was controversial in the 10th round, he stopped Wheeler, even though, that you talked about, he took a smack right on the chin and went down, and it was a good, solid knockdown.
That's right.
And Marquez tasted that power of Pinckney, but came back to beat him.
Yes, he did. So he has reached the international championship. I'm not quite clear on that.
I don't know. I think they need an intercontinental. They've got the international.
Well, why not?
There's
That was the title.
Not much anymore unless you're at the very top and you're talking about that world championship.
That's right. Yeah, no matter what division, what weight, wherever you're fighting. So.
And that's why, what is important now is a good...
Pat Russell is the referee. I like his work. He never interferes with the fighters, but he'll be right on top of it should the situation warrant it. Nice exchange. Right hand by Mark. A lot of dancing, moving, trying to fade each other out and look one another over. We'll be back after this. Out they come for round 2, and right toward the end of round number 1, while Sanchez suffered a cut over the right eye, high up in what would be the eyebrow, and he's one of the best cut men in all of boxing.
Yeah, and Bodak went right to work on it. Looks like it, but again, Bodak is as good as there is right now in terms of a cut man.
Be above the eye, hence the possibility of blood coming down into the eye and affecting the situation. It makes it a lot worse. This is round 2. They're scheduled.
Still on his feet. He gives you a lot of movement. He gets down in the crouch and starts shaking his shoulders around. It looks like Argers.
Easy now.
Making you nervous just watching him.
I was the Charger announcer. Magnificent.
Marquez, I thought, landed the most significant punches.
And while they bounce up and down at long range suddenly so far, that's been the pattern of this fight. This is round number 2. And it's good. Boxing commissioner of the state of California, Willie Buchanan, great defensive back. His best days might have been with Green Bay, and he finished up his career down in San Diego and Casati on that exchange by Sanchez.
The last time we saw Marquez, he was fighting so very patient in the ring, Tommy. He always sticks to his game plan, and he's willing. He doesn't necessarily...
And he landed a good left that Sanchez ran into, and an overhand right over the left hand.
And at the Pond last year, as promoted by Forum Boxing, that Marquez put in the best bantamweight champion, Julio Gervasio, down at the Pond. He just fought an absolute... It was a brilliant showing.
Chuck Bodak's going to be busy, Rich, between rounds. We'll go with Sanchez, and that cut is opened up.
Tom, I just checked with Pat Russell, and I'm surprised he told me that he did rule a headbutt.
Really?
And Dick Young, the judge sitting next to me, didn't know it himself. No. So it stopped after this next round. We will go to the scorecards if it's forced to be...
Well, it is going to be a troublesome, worrisome thing, I believe.
Sanchez has won 3 consecutive bouts since he lost a 12-round decision to Marco Antonio Barrera, 122 pounds. Marquez, by the way, has risen to 5th in the WBO rankings. He might be able to challenge for a championship fight.
These men are featherweight in his vain effort to get the title back from last week, and Jones himself weighed 126 or 28, so...
Talking 140 on down. The fighters are putting on at least 5 to 10 pounds.
Marquez is wearing the black trunks trimmed in red. The Dominican Republic. You know who's buried in the Dominican Republic?
Christopher Columbus.
Pianola, Dominican Republic. The other half of the island of Haiti. They're a building in the world of about 15 kilometers.
Have a whole...
Pat Russell stepping in quickly to warn Sanchez about not being able to recognize the belt line from the kneecap. Russell looked at him, and I don't know if...
And you know Russell knows that reputation, and the reputation referees will be looking for it to happen.
Heavily muscled, that's Sanchez, and Marquez not nearly so heavily muscled. What a good fight this is, though. We'll be back. After 3 rounds, Rich Marotta has Marquez, the defending champion in the NABO featherweight division, up a point, 59-28.
And keep in mind, too, that Marquez, though, is one of those fighters who gets better, it seems like, as a fight wears along. And is almost strong.
Marquez, he's in the black trunks, trimmed in red, an overhand right and a left hand to the body.
Yeah, stance, a good classic stance. Hands up high, really pays it.
I think by the looks of these two guys, as they look at each other, they respect each other's ability to a punch that isn't thrown just right, that allows the other guy to come back. Nice jab by...
Waited for Sanchez to lead and then has countered each of them effectively.
Agapito Sanchez has been a factor. Nice left hand, good countering left hand. That right hand landed on the gloves. It was blocked as much as anything else, but it was a nice looking punch.
A hard guy to get a real good clean shot on because he gives you all that nervous movement, which he is.
That was interesting. Sanchez heavily muscled and looks just like he's been a form, huh?
Yeah, I prefer, if I had to choose just on the looks, to me, the kind of body where you really get the guys who have the power. Lean, that lithe.
Nice exchange. These two guys were featherweight title on the line. Juan Manuel Marquez in the black and the red. Not too long ago. He's won 19 in a row. 18 knockouts. Making his forum and 97 debut here tonight. And round 4 comes to a close.
The Nacho Beristain has put together. Latest miracle, Zaragoza.
Isn't that unbelievable? Boy, I'll tell you, Zaragoza, in case you missed it, went over to... scooped up maybe a $500,000. He continues to go along for that. He's going to retire. And about halfway through every fight, he gets his second wind and turns around at Lions.
Change of plans. Yeah, he just keeps going on. He's made more money in the last 2.
And he's just a phenomenon. Got a bad right hand by Sanchez in return. The 5th round of about scheduled for 12.
Sanchez is having to reach for Marquez counter blows.
Remember our tale of the tape, Rich, where Marquez has got a reach of 68 and does have a problem in reaching out and making contact. So things to overcome. There was a punch thrown low.
The distance with Ferreira when Marco Antonio was knocking everybody out.
Nice boxing by Sanchez. Did a flurry of punches by Marquez that landed on nothing.
Round, Tom, but he sticks to his game plan. I mean, he doesn't go crazy, doesn't go wild. He's not getting out. He believes in the instructions he gets from Beristain, and he sticks to them.
Nice moment.
Sanchez beginning to bleed a little bit more now, Tom.
We'll be back at it in a moment while this round comes to a close. The bell brings him out for round number 6. This is scheduled for 12. With Sanchez on the left in the gold and black. In the black and red is the enemy.
Some really good work by Marquez in the final minute of that last round. It was beginning to have an effect and discourage Sanchez a little bit, and I think the cut.
And a right hand that scored by Marquez a moment ago caught Sanchez. Boy, I'm surprised Russell didn't take a point away. He's cautioned him a couple of times.
Told now that under California rules, if a fighter needs a fighter who inflicted the low blow, I think that's a terrible rule, and I think it's and want to get an extra point in the scoring.
It does kind of leave him a trapdoor or an escape route. The fight of the time, according to Marty Denkin, who certainly knows he's one of the best in the business. On the referee, if you give the fighter time to recover, you must assess the other fighter, take a point away.
Right now,
would give a lot of people a chance to slip through the fall through the cracks.
I mean, the referee is there to make that kind of a judgment.
True. Marquez has not given any indication that they'll hit low. There was a major problem.
He's a poised fighter in there.
I tell you, they're beginning to tee off now. These guys are beginning to get down to the nitty-gritty, so to speak. Now, In the first round, a headbutt caused a cut over the right eye in the eye.
Sanchez is not an easy guy to fight, despite the fact that he will come forward. He doesn't necessarily little angles that he becomes difficult to get a good clean shot on.
But he is the type of fighter that Marquez fights best against, the guy that comes right at him. And in this regard, I don't know if Marquez, winner of 19 straight, and he might be undefeated were it not for the after the bell. Anson was given a loss, so he's Sanchez, and it too looked as though it might be a little low.
This is a tremendous learning experience.
Oh, Richie landed a solid left hand, Marquez did, and it just made really a good, solid shot by Marquez.
And only the second time that I can recall in the fight where he
Marquez the taller of the two, but
operates very quickly anyway if you hurt him. But I like Marquez's work in there, that counter punch, that little left hand.
Get on Sanchez now. The crowd is certainly pro-Hispanic. Marquez is almost a local favorite. They've seen him fight so many. Great Western form.
He's been able to land the cleanest blows that he has in the fight. Sanchez again is given tip. He seems to go to a little bit of lateral movement. They try to throw Marquez off. Marquez fighting a very controlled round though.
Good shot to the body by Sanchez and a busy exchange as we come to the end of the round.
Putting punches together and landing good, crisp, sharp, clean shots in round 7.
Might have been as good as any two punches thrown so far in the fight, and it's been an action-packed affair as we're into round number 8. It is scheduled featherweight champion Agapito Sanchez. Fighter as he's grown up in the divisions. Here we are, the featherweight class.
Getting better as the fight goes along. This is the usual script with Juan Manuel.
The only mark either man's sports is I should say, of Agapito Sanchez came as a result of a headbutt in the first round, but where it moved over just about 2 inches might have been a good night. Well, each man very respectful. Nice uppercut. The ability of both men. A good left hand by Sanchez.
Yeah, he gets in there, Tom, but what happens is his clean shot, even after you land. Marquez, I think, is doing a very effective job.
He's got it, and he's all over him like white on rice. He really nailed him with an uppercut. Sanchez is tough, and as you said earlier, he does recuperate in a hurry, doesn't he?
Yes. It took him really been in dire straits.
I tell you, Sanchez doesn't regain his composure, and he's not standing around or clinching.
Tom, and his head movement is getting less and less, which is enabling Marquez to land better.
12, and he will show it to you again. Rest assured, that was a corking good uppercut that Sanchez weathered.
Really typical of a Juan Manuel Marquez fight, as he just keeps getting better and stronger.
He nailed Sanchez with everything in his arsenal there, Rich. Maybe in the back of his mind, he's saying to himself, I got to do this 2 or 3 times to put this guy away, apparently, because Sanchez recovered and recouped in offense.
They're still coming forward.
Yeah.
You have to wonder if this fight continues like this, Tom, and Mark, he's getting up into the rarefied air, I think, and he comes in tonight ranked 5th.
Yeah, I've never seen him fight. I know you have, or at least you've seen film on him, and I've got a friend of mine who is awkward, but he is something else indeed.
Oh, yeah, I had my doubts about him, but he's in terms of style. It's something very unique, and you'd have to go back to the very early days, but as this Nassim Hamed is, the only difference is that Hamed has tremendous power in either
time over there in Old Whitey, hasn't he?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And, of course, he did defeat and knock out Tom Boone.
For a long time, there'd been talk of Marco Antonio Barrera and Nassim Hamed, but that would have been a solid jab.
But maybe Marquez might be headed in that direction if he can get a good terms of world championships in the not-too-distant future.
Marquez, who's at victory.
To the body from a long way away. You don't often see punches hit it.
Knows Marquez.
And he's taking some shots here tonight.
Yeah.
As we've already
Remember back in the first round, a headbutt caused a cut over the arm thanks to the good services of Chuck Bodak.
Yeah, he's fought pretty well this round, Sanchez.
I think he has. In fact, I think he's won this round so far, but we only keep a score for ourselves. We'll be back. Up they come for round number 9. Marquez 87, Sanchez 84. Excuse me, this is the 10th round. After 9, this is the 10th round.
3.
Did you give Sanchez the last round?
Last round, yes, 5 from it.
Yeah, in light of the beating he took, seemingly so, for about 20 seconds. Neither man has been down. Moment why Sanchez was in trouble, but he weathered the storm and scheduled for 12. Nice left hand work by Marquez, huh, Rich?
Yeah, and he knocked good balance when he comes in. Hard man to knock off balance, but Marquez was able to do it.
A couple of shots in as well. You hear the slap of leather.
Trying to find the opening. Marquez is finding it more often.
As Marquez
advantage for Marquez. Keep it right the way it is. Ring center, long distance. Marquez really doesn't allow it.
He's 5'7" to the Sanchez height of from Sanchez now. Russell has warned him a couple of times, and Sanchez will lose a point, and he can ill afford to do that. Round 10 coming to a close. Round number 11 brings him out of the corners. That is Sanchez in the gold and black. Boy, you know what a devastating thing it is to lose a point if he lost over him.
Right, and I think what you had there, Tom, is a dramatic turnaround ahead by 3 points prior to that round with 3 rounds to go. Still time for Sanchez. 2 rounds to go now. Instead of a close fight, now he needs a knockout to win, at least on my card.
And that is that it would appear Sanchez has got to knock Marquez out if he wants to take the fight. Sanchez, as we've told you, was the shorter. Almost low. It might have landed, but he doubled up with that left hand. He missed back.
In Sanchez, he's come out as active as he's been at the start of any round in this fight.
Magic. In one big moment here, he's going to turn the tide. He runs into it.
About that one, I think. Too many feints.
And he just got nailed with the right hand that was low. Marquez did. No admonition. Whether it hurt or not was not going to give him the satisfaction of thinking that you had hurt me. Wheeling into the ring ropes, I don't think he's that hurt. But he did cascade in and as he got nailed again as he tried to close.
Yeah, and what is happening here is while Sanchez is taking chance shots and he's getting hit very hard shots. And I think he's been slowing up here. And I think he was.
Do a close. There's the bell and a busy 11 rounds in the books with one more. Up they come. Russell brings the 2 fighters out. No touch gloves. His mathematics sometimes isn't too good, but his knowledge of the fight game is excellent.
Well, you never know. I had De La Hoya ahead by 1 point going into the final round over Whitaker. At least I had the right guy.
Yes, you did. And I don't know, sometimes it's, you see different things, of course. Progressiveness and trying to make the fight.
I don't know what Sanchez is doing here other than maybe trying to last out. That eye is already opened up again in this round, and it's bleeding very badly in this round.
On the side of Sanchez's face now than we've seen it any time during the fight.
Marquez bleeding from the nose, but I think this has really been a good disciplined performance against a cagey vet.
The record is 22-3, and he's been in with some of the very best. There's been no backup in Sanchez. He used to impress. He seems to get better with each and every outing. We've never seen him lose. He's ninth in the ring.
Yeah, he fought only 8 fights in Mexico before coming here to the United States. Las Vegas, and we were anxious to see more of him, and every time we've seen him.
Perfection now. He has nailed Sanchez with it 3 or 4 times as the small to the wire with some solid shots at each other. This is a real nice fight.
Look at how poised Marquez has been, though. He never left his game plan, Tom.
Beautiful.
He fought a brilliant fight here, I think.
I think he did too. I'd be surprised if the judges saw it any other way other than the way you handed him the card. Of course, he was coming in, the crowd's favorite, and as he gets his nose wiped off, why, he's basking in a job well done. We'll be back to get the official count, and our congratulations to Sanchez. He fought well, but we think in defeat. We'll be back in a moment.